In this video, we're going to be continuing with plans that have contours within them. So in our last video, we had to determine the four heights of our corners. As you can see, they're still highlighted like this. I will also add the link of that video in the description so that you start with the video, then you come to this one, so you know how we first got these heights using interpolation. So now we're going to try and figure out how we're going to work the steps in this plan that we have. So as you can notice, we have these four corners with extremely high difference in height. So I'd say because the site is sloping, the four corners of the building sit at different levels. So rather than cutting away all that earth to create flat platform, which would be costly and wasteful, we step the foundation down to follow the natural slope of the ground. That way the foundation stays at a safe and practical depth throughout, and the brickwork steps up with it course by course to reach the same finished floor level across the whole building. So in simple, I would just say we step the foundation down to follow the natural slope of this plan. And how do we do that? We do that by determining the difference between the height. And if we determine the difference between these heights, we're actually trying to find out how much the ground drops. So if you determine how much the ground drops, then you'll be able to know, or the difference tells you how the difference tells you how high the foundation needs to be between the two corners, you see. So yeah, let me just draw it and explain it so that you can be able to understand before we can jump into the calculations. So if we have something that looks like this, remember now we're also trying to determine the steps, and by determining the steps, it means now we're going to be working with what? With brick courses. So we know a standard brick would have a height of 75 millimeter, then we would add the 10 millimeter for mortar, then we would have 85 millimeter. Basically this, it's what? It's your one course. So if we have two courses, you just have to multiply your 2 by 85, then this one will give you 170. Then this is your 2 courses. Then your 3 courses, it will be something like your 3 by 85. Then this is going to give you 255. This is your 3 courses. Then your 4 courses will be 4 multiplied by your 85. Then this is going to give you 340. This is your 4 courses, you see. So we're trying to at least maybe work in courses that we are going to flush with the steps. So let's say now we are having 3 courses within this one. It means now we're going to be having something that looks like this. Going to be having the first course, then the second course, and the third course will be somewhere there. So I put that third course will be somewhere around there, you see. So yeah, we always make sure that our courses are flashing. So by making sure that our flashing, we're going to round off to the nearest numbers, which is going to be these courses. So you'll just understand it far much better when we're doing these calculations. For instance, here you could have 1 or 2 cores even here, you see. So now it means this entire thing is flashing while we still have that stepped foundation. So basically we are working on a foundation with what we are already having, without actually having to cut anything, you see. So now I'm going to start with the actual calculation. We will have this one minus that one. That okay, what do we have? We have 664 minus 447. This gives us 217. Then we can say for this side 664 minus 300, we have 664 minus 300. What do we get? We get 364. Then now we can say this one minus this one. We have 300 minus 100, then we get 200. Then lastly we have this one, deduct this one, we have 447 minus 100, then we are getting 347. Remember, this one we are trying to work them out in courses, but if you can check, we actually don't have 217 cores. But what do we have? We do have this one, which is 255. So basically that's how you work it out. So if, let's just say, maybe we do it like this, we check the values or the courses that are at least closer to the ones that we are working with. So we can just say CC close or nearest courses for 217. We can use the one for 255. Then for 364 we can use 425. So let me just check something. So it means basically the 425, it's here, it's going to be, it's like fifth course. You have 5 by 85, it's going to be 425. This is 5 courses, you see. So we can just round this one to 5 courses. Then the two, this one is tricky because we have 200. We can either use the 170, which is this one, or the 255. So we'll just use the 255 here. Yeah, even if you use 170, it's still fine, but for this one I'll just use the 255. Then the 347 one, we do have 340 here, we still can use it. Then we have 340. So remember how I said if you have that stepped foundation like this, you have to make sure that whatever course that you are having, it's supposed to be flashing with the steps like this. So if you're having 3 courses here, or 2 courses or whatever, here is 2, here is 1, so they actually always have to be flashing like that. So hence that's why you see I'm rounding to these values that you see, which is actually the ones that are closest, you see. So now we're going to try and work them out slowly and break them down and say, okay, let me just say we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So for number 1, how are we going to have this one? You see, normally if we are having this one, you can see, try to at least maybe break down these courses and make sure that they reach this final value that you are having here. If you want a combination of causes that will lead to 285, it's what? It's your let me just write here. It will be your 85 and your what? In your 170. 170, so it's basically 2 cos plus your 1 cos. You see? So you're going to write it like this. You have your 1 times your 85 plus your 1 times your 170. So if you add this, all is still going to give you 255. Then this 1 times 85 and 1 times 170. I'm just trying to figure out how many steps for 85 am I going to have, how many steps for 170 am I going to have. Then we move to the second one and see, okay, we want to figure out a combination that will lead to 425. So we check that, okay, what can we combine? We can say we have let me see, we said the 2 by 170 already gives us 340, and 340 if we add 85, it's just going to give us 425. So you can also play around until you get there. We can have 2 times 170. 2 times 170 already gives us 340, which is here for the course. Then if we add 1 times 85, then now we're going to be getting our final answer of 125. Then we go to number 3. The fastest way to get to 255 255. Oh, I think we've already done this one. It's this one. We will have what? 1 times, you can start with 85. Either way that you start is still fine. Then this side we're going to have 1 times 170. It's basically your 85 plus your 170. So remember, as I said, don't be confused by these ones. These ones, we're going to be using them in the final step. You will see how we're using those. So the fourth one, we have 340. I think we've worked out in the middle here that you can have 2 times 170. 2 times 170, yeah, that's 3 foot. So you can say you have your 2 times your 170. You see? So now what do we have? We actually have to count how many steps do we have. That will be 85 millimeter, and how many steps do we have that are going to be 170. So let's start with the one for 85. I'm just gonna mark them. We have this one, we also have this, we also have this. So it's 3. That's 1, the number that you're seeing, 2, 3. So we're going to say we have 3 times the 85. So this is just to show how many there will be. Then the one for 170, how are we going to, how many are we going to have? So let me just erase this one so that we're only left with the one for 170, and you can be able to see them. So if I erase this one, what do I have? I have 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2. 2 plus 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it means now you have 6 times your 170. you see. So yeah, it's just like that. Just have to remember that whatever courses that you're working with here, it flashes with the stepped foundation, and also just to follow the natural step of the natural slope of the ground, I meant to say. And yeah, I'll upload the link to the first video where we worked our height for this one, and yeah, leading to this second calculations that we've done. So yeah, if you find these calculations helpful, I think you can subscribe, and I'll also see you in another video that we'll do on quantities.